Hari Om. A great icon, Swami Vivekananda, once was traveling in a train and he happened to get down at one station, and a station master was inclined to spirituality, and he got attracted towards Swamiji, and then decided to leave everything, renunciate everything, and follow this path full time. So Swamiji asked him where he had worked as a station master. There in that quarters, railway servants' quarters, go and ask for alms, beg where you once moved as a person with status, social status. So he did that, and then Swamiji accepted him as his disciple. Also, once Swamiji was giving discourse, and one beggar happened to pass from there, and then he stood and listened to him, and he developed reverence towards him. Afterwards, he asked Swamiji, "Would you come to me and accept? I want to offer lunch to you. I want to offer food to you. Would you accept that?" Swamiji said yes. And where he was staying under a flyover, no walls. So there Swamiji went and accepted food. He said, God is everywhere. Once Swamiji was passing through a narrow pass. Both the sides mountains were there, only a narrow pathway was there in between. So when he was going there, he was alone. And suddenly from opposite side, a bunch of monkeys came, and no place was there here and there to run. So Swamiji turned around, took a U-turn, and then started going, running back. So those monkeys were also grinning and growling towards him. So one person was coming from that side. So he said, if you try to run away from them, then they will definitely know that you are a coward and they will attack you and they will chase you. Instead, you turn towards them and look into their eyes, face them, then they will turn back and they will run away from you. And really, Swamiji turned towards them and fearlessly looked into their eyes. And with that penetrating look, they came to know the fearlessness that resides in his heart. And then they ran away. In life also, when we want to just escape responsibilities or any sorrow or any difficult condition, it chases us. And when we stop and without any fear, without getting afraid of them, we face them, we get more than one solutions on that problem. Hari Om. Ignorance make you arrogant also, and also fearful of death, because ignorance says that you are this body, and this is untruth. Truth is that we are different from this body. So the disease of body, death of body, or old age of body does not affect us, the core of our personality, the self, the spiritual center in us. So this Hiranyakashipu, one demon, he was doing tapas, and he asked God. Actually, this is very long story. If you want to see from the beginning to end, it covers many sub stories or small small stories. When this God created this world, Brahmaji was created first to take further this work of creation. So that time only this Brahmaji was there with a form and name, and above him, beyond him, that reality, which is otherwise called Mahavishnu, Mahanarayan, or Paramatma, without any form, name, and attributes. So this Brahmadev, when he was alone to create this world, with a thought only, Sankalpa Matrena, with a thought only, he sons, Sanak, Sanandan, Sanatan, Sanat Kumar. These four sons, they were very devoted, very knowledgeable, and they were also having very superhuman powers, supreme accomplishments. So they kept their age only 4 years old, 4 5 years old. They did not allow their body to age any more than that because they wanted to spend whole of their life in the devotion and knowledge of God only. So if the age of the body grows, increases, then we have to follow all the norms and manners and etiquettes of the society. So do this time, this thing, and behave like this, sit here, wear that, etc. So when child of 5 years, he is just excused for those rules of society. Therefore, they kept their age only 5 years, and ever on their lips the names of God was there. Hari Sharanam, 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 Hari Sharanam. Hari Sharanam, Hari Sharanam, Hari Sharanam, Hari Sharanam, Hari Sharanam, Sharanam, Hari Sharanam, Sharanam, Hari Sharanam, Hari Sharanam. In this way, they used to chant happily and gaily this name of Lord. So once this happened that they came to Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha is the place of where Lord Vishnu stays. Spiritually, if you see, then Buddhir Vikunthita Yatra. Buddhir Vikunthita means our intellect stops its function of cause hunting. So intellect gets stunned where the area of physics ends, metaphysics starts. So when intellect becomes silent, then the spirituality starts. The place of intellect in spirituality is to know that the self cannot be known by intellect. Even though we acquire the knowledge to remove the thought of ignorance about ourselves through intellect only, buddhigrayam. दृश्यते त्वग्रया बुद्ध्या सूक्ष्मया सूक्ष्मदर्शिभिः बुद्धिग्राह्यम् अतीन्द्रियम्. This bliss of the self knowledge is. So this Vaikuntha. So they came to this Vaikuntha and they wanted to meet Lord. They wanted to see him and be with him for some moments. But there were two doorkeepers, special doorkeepers of Vaikuntha Loka, and their names were Jaya and Vijaya. When you go to any temple, when the sanctum sanctorium of that goddess is there, when it is consecrated there, so this side one and this side one, like this two persons with two statues with the spear, etc. You will see mace or spear. So they are Jai Vijay. Most of the temples they are there. When this Lord Vishnu, Krishna, or like this Narayan temple is there, Vitthal temple is there. So Jai Vijay and then Garuda Hanumanta. These are the inner circle of devotees. So the Jai Vijay were there with a spear in their hand. So they stopped and prevented this Sanak Sanandan, Sanat Kumar, Sanatan. These four Sanat Kumar, they are called as a group only, Sanat Kumar. So they were stopped to go further. And they said, Lord is resting now, you cannot go. So these Sanat Kumar, actually, they should be very polite and very humble towards devotees of God. They should never prevent them to go and meet Lord, go and see Lord. So Sanandan Sanat Kumar, they did not like this rude behavior of them, and they cursed them that this is Vaikuntha, Lord's place. So one who, by lot of merits and devotion, one who is eligible to stay here, to come here, he must be very, very friendly and cooperative with the devotees of Lord, with the guests. So it does not suits you. It is unbecoming of you to be so rude and to prevent anybody to see Lord. So you go and according to your this arrogant attitude, you become demon. You take three births in this mortal world, earth. So Lord came out, what is happening outside? And when he knew that, when he came to know that they have cursed his servants, then he said, yes, your curse is our command. So definitely this will happen. But I also take responsibility of the mistake of my men. So I also will take birth on earth. Not only three times, but I will take birth for four times. And then the first time, these two Jai Vijay, they were born as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. And Lord Vishnu took the reincarnation of wild boar to kill Hiranyaksha when he was taking this earth down. And second time, he was born as a man lion or lion man, means head of lion and rest of the body as of man. So this is the story. So when this Hiranyakashipu was born and afterwards he went to do penance, so he deep in the heart some fear of death was there. So he did that austerity. And when Brahmadev came, became pleased with his austerity, his strict rules of standing on only one thumb and surviving only on air. Then he came there to give boon, and he said, "What do you do? What do you ask? I want." So he said, "I want to be mortal. I want to be immortal with this body." So Brahmadev says, "No. Whoever has got birth, he is definitely will die. Therefore, you ask something else." So he said, "Then okay, then I don't want death in the either in the day or in the night, either by any weapon or by any missile, either in the house or outside the house, either down on the earth or up in the sky, either by man or by beasts." So, in this way, he put many conditions and he thought that he is very clever and smart and he has covered all the possibilities of death. So Brahmadev knew that whatever intellect he has got, wit he has got, definitely God has got much more than that, many folds of that. Therefore, he will just find out some uh, excuse from this or some way out from this, and definitely he will be killed. Therefore, he happily said, "Yes, Amen, so it be." And he gave him that boon. And then when he got that boon, he thought that he is invincible and he is immortal and nobody can kill him. And so he just everywhere he spread a terror as if and started torturing all good people, good men, gods, and started giving affliction and sorrow to everybody. And himself started enjoying. So he had got this son. He had got other sons also. In that this Prahlad was there. Prahlad is Prakarshena Lhadayati. Iti Prahlad. One so immensely makes others happy. Such were the virtues of Prahlad that they were as if equal to God only. He was very kind to people. He was very respectful to elders and he was full of devotion towards Lord, and he was having full control over his body and mind and always reveling in the name of God and glories of God. He was friendly with his friends. So these all types of virtues were there in his personality. So this Prahlad was sent to a boarding school as per that time's tradition, Gurukul residential school, and that was run by two sons of the teacher of demons. In Shukracharya's two sons, Shanda and Amarka. So Shanda, Amarka were his teachers. And after some few months passed, and on holiday he came, and Hiranyakashipu asked him that what do you learned in school? Which subject do you like? So Prahlad said, "I think I like to go into woods, jungle, forest, and leave all other worldly things in cities, etc., and just immersed in the devotion of Lord. Take His name with eyes, just have His vision, with ears, listen to His glories. That only I like." Listening this, Hiranyakashipu got shocked because he thought he is the one, he is the Lord, and everybody should take his name, everybody should give oblation to him only, everybody should do sacrifice for him only. So he is the Lord. So why he is telling, why his own son was telling to take other Vishnu's name, etc., who is actually the killer of his brother. So he got furious and he asked Chandamarka, his teacher, Prahlad's teachers, don't teach him such things. They said, oh, we will never teach him. It is all by natural in his mind. He is naturally inclined towards God. So it is inherent in him. So he said, okay, but you take care that he develops respect for only me. And he thinks that I am God and he will chant my names only. Like this, you will try. Then he goes again to school. And again, after next year, when he comes, then again this Hiranyakashipu takes this child Prahlad on his lap. And again he asks, what do you think the aim of life? What everybody should do? What have you learned up till now? So, what is your conclusion? So, Prahlad says, nine types of devotion I like to do, and everybody should spend their life in that only. You listen to the glories of God, you remember to chant His name, you do prostrations to them, you do worship to Him, you serve Him, and you yourself sing glories of Him, and then you become as if His friend, and then you offer yourself as His food, and you don't remain. You get merged in Him, you get absorbed in Him, and you, by your body, etc., you serve Him as His servant. So, in this way, nine types of devotion one should do, and that is what I think the best way of spending life. So, Hiranyakashipu got so angry, and with a wrath, he just threw Prahlad away from his lap and said, who is there? Just kill this child. He is all the way acting opposite to me. And so the servants came and they tried to kill Prahlad with a sword and spear and mace and club. But their all weapons were as if frozen in the air only. Their hands as if were stopped by some magic. So they could not kill him. Hiranyakashipu saw this. Who is there to save him? He is such a weakling child. And Prahlad's state was such that he was feeling as if he is in the loving embrace of God. He was ever protected by him. He was not fearful at all of his father, neither of death, neither of those soldiers who were trying to kill him. And he was just with ecstasy. And in another realm of consciousness was chanting God's name. नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण 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 हरि नारायण हरि नारायण नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण जय जय नारायण श्रीमन्नारायण लक्ष्मी नारायण. He was just singing Lord's name. Sometimes he was laughing and smiling as if God is there in front of him and he is uh, just entertaining him. And sometimes he was weeping and crying, thinking that where is Lord? He cannot see him. So that bereavement, pangs of bereavement he was feeling. Sometimes he was dancing and sometimes he was running here and there, sometimes sitting like a statue, still and steady. and emotionless. So in this way, he was in full form of devotion. And here, this Hiranyakashipu was trying to kill him by hook or crook. He said, now again you take him to school first, and then you put a strict eye on where he goes, who comes to him, what he does, etc. So they took him again to school. And okay, one day, what happened? Some work was there for their teachers, Chandamarkar. They went out of session, and then teacher, all the students were having off class, off period. So Prahlad was there, immersed in the joy, the sweet bliss of devotion. So all the people went to him and he said, Prahlad, you are so happy every time and you are so fulfilled like feeling. And we also feel to sit with near you, to speak to you, to know from you something that is there that you know. And you please tell us what is this devotion and what we should do so that our life becomes fulfilled. So Prahlad thought this is good way to introduce them. He said, Kaumare eva acharet pradnyaha dharman bhagavatan iha. He said, since beginning only we should do devotion. We should try to meditate. We should get ourselves introduced to scriptures and read that and take name of God everywhere, every time, and always remain in His remembrance. Please try to feel His hands in everything that happens, and you become such a sentiment, this one subtle and sensitive, that you will feel that He is always with you, inside, outside, in everybody's heart, in every living and non-living thing, in every particle of time also and space also. So, in this way, he gave them all knowledge, and he also told them about how we should transact in this world. That always you be reverential towards the learned people and friendly with the ones who are of your age, and those who are poor and diseased and otherwise of low cost, then you just become very kind and compassionate and merciful towards them. Help as much as you can and use this body to serve others because God is there in everybody's heart. So, in this way, he instructs them about the day to day transactions also. So, afterwards, after 2 days, those Chandamarka came. Then what they saw that all other children were also doing bhajan, and they were just stunned, and they brought this Prahlad now to Hiranyakashipu, and they said, "Oh Lord, O King, up till now this Prahlad was only doing things opposite to you and speaking opposite to you, but now he has instructed other children also, and they are also doing devotion towards Lord Hari. So now you please take care of him, because in this way the all other demons will also think that we have ill taught all these things to their children. So now we leave Prahlad here. And they went. So Hiranyakashipu now got very, very angry, and he said, now I will not leave you. In any case, I will kill you. So he arranged a poisonous snake to be bitten. Then he arranged that he will starve days together and he will die of starvation. And only one Ekkalkondi, only solo, complete solitude, and as a punishment. And then he just threw him from a cliff, from very high mountain in the Gulf down. And then by all other he tried to smash him under the feet of a heavy and huge mountain like elephant. But all his efforts were in vain because Prahlad was saved by Lord Himself. And it is said that when the Almighty is by your side, who can touch even your head? जानकी नाथ सहाय करे जब कौन बिगाड़ करे नर तेरो जानकी नाथ सहाय सूरजमङ्गल सोमभृगुसुत सूरजमङ्गल सोमभृगुसुत बुध अरु गुरु वरदायक तेरो राहु केतु की नहीं गम्यता राहु केतु की नहीं गम्यता संग शनीचर होत उजेरो जानकी नाथ सहाय करे जब कौन बिगाड़ करे नर तेरो जानकी नाथ सहाय जाकी सहाय करे करुणा निधि जाकी सहाय करे करुणा निधि ताके जगत में भाग बड़ेरो रघुवंशी संतन कर सेवक रघुवंशी संतन सेवक संग तुलसीदास चरणन के चेरो तुलसीदास चरणन के चेरो जानकी नाथ सहाय करे जब कौन बिगाड़ करे नर तेरो जानकी नाथ सहाय. When the God itself is your protector, no fear of anything to him. In this way, Prahlad was saved. At last, his brother, means Hiranyakashipu's sister, she was looking at all the efforts of her brother to kill Prahlad. So she got an idea. She came to his brother and said, "Oh, brother, in the olden times, when I did a penance, Brahmadev gave me a boon that I will not be harmed by fire. So let me take Prahlad in my lap and you just lit a bright wild fire around me. I will be saved because I got the boon, and Prahlad will be burned to ashes." So Hiranyakashipu said, "Okay, try that." Then she took Prahlad into her lap, and all the firewood was lit around her. But oh, she only got started getting burning sensation, and oh, fire, fire! It is very hot, very hot. And she came out of that fire, and then asked Brahmadev that you had given me that boon. It is not working now. So Brahmadev said, "That boon I gave you as a defensive instrument to this one, and not as a way to kill others, to harm others. So you have misused that boon. So now I am withdrawing that. Now you are bereft of that boon." So in this way, the Hiranyakashipu just was not knowing what to do to kill his child. And at last he asked Prahlad that on whose strength you are such fearless and you are not getting afraid of me also who is trying to kill you. All the three worlds, they just tremble when they listen that I am coming. So Prahlad very silently and very respectfully told his father that, "Father, I am just got assured on his strength, on whose strength you are also doing all these things and speaking this. In you also, his strength only works. So Prahlad did not get anything of this spirituality. But he said, where is he? Where is your protector? Where is your God, whose name you always chant? He said, he is everywhere, Father. He is in each and everything. Hiranyakashipu said, is he there in this pole, this pillar? Because his palace was having very much decorated pillars, big, big pillars. He said, yes, Father, he is there in that pillar also. Full faith and complete trust Prahlad were having about God's presence everywhere. So this furious, this Hiranyakashipu kicked that pillar and with a fist he just hit that pillar, gave a big box and punched that pillar. And that pillar was as if cracked and into two, and big sound came reverberating all the sky and earth and making all the people around deaf and dumb. So the and out of that emerged that man lion, and with the head of lion and body with a man, and royal and regal and furious, more than this Hiranyakashipu, because God never tolerates anybody's crime and mistake who touch and who harm his devotees. He is very much protected towards his devotees. And this Hiranyakashipu had tortured Lord's devotee Prahlad. So he was very angry with Hiranyakashipu. And Hiranyakashipu, when he saw him, he said, who he is? Neither man nor animal. Because see, this is the one of the condition of his boon that he asked for Brahmadev, that I don't want death from neither man nor animal. So he is neither man nor animal. And this time of dusk, neither day nor night. And but earlier, this Hiranyakashipu just attacked him with his sword and mace and all the weapons, spear and etc. So the God just easily, without any efforts, just waved and broke those all weapons, etc. So Hiranyakashipu went and started wrestling with God with all the poses and positions. So God also just gave a good fight to him. And at last, when that was dusk time, because all with the other, all other this one gods and all celestial singers and instrumentalists, and they all gathered in the sky to see this fight. So the sages, saints and sages, philosophers and austere, they all said, great souls, they said, God, now it is dusk time. So after this, the strength of demons will increase, because then that their time starts. So now you please don't play with him more and kill him. So God says yes. And that he took him on his lap and he sat on the threshold, because not inside the house, not outside the house, and not down on the earth, not up in the sky. So on his lap only he took on the threshold. And this was dusk time. And with not weapons or missiles, so only with his nails, he just torn his stomach into parts, and then his life was ended. बोलिए श्री नृसिंह भगवान की जय. So in this way, he killed that. But this fury, the anger, the wrath of Nrsimha Bhagwan, that was also still there, and he was trembling with that anger. And his lips were this one vibrating. So all the gods, etc., Brahmadev, Indra, Chandra, Agni, Varun, fire god, moon god, air gods, Kuber, everybody has gathered there, and they wanted God to become calm and quiet now, because the purpose for which God had reincarnated in this form was over. Therefore, they wanted God to be pleasant, like his every days and every time look. So Lakshmi and all other goddesses were also gathered there. So they asked this Lakshmi Mata, "Oh Mother Goddess Lakshmi, you please go and make God calm, because he is your husband. So you are very familiar to him." Lakshmi said, "No, no, no. This form of the God I have never seen. This is not familiar to me. So I cannot go. I am feeling very much afraid of him, this form." So she was reluctant to go. Then all the gods, etc., Brahmadev, etc., they requested Prahlad itself. Prahlad was a small child in front of them. They requested Prahlad, Prahlad, you please go and just make God calm and quiet. So he said, okay, because he was fearless. And he said that even though all the animals and men, etc., are afraid of lion, but lion's own cubs, they do not get any fear of that. They just play over his body, etc., and among his legs, etc. They will play and they will fight then just for the sake of game, etc. So, like this, even though God's that form was very fearful, he, Prahlad, went near him and did full prostration at his feet. And he stood there with folded palms and started praising God. Oh God, you are so kind, you are so soft hearted, and even though you are full of knowledge, knowledge itself, strength itself, all the virtues itself, but still you are very much you have concern with your for your devotees, and you came here yourself and you have killed. It is good that you killed that this demon who was very as a terror itself for all the worlds, for all good people. So now you please become calm and quiet. And it is actually, this is all form of you. But when you are formless, attributeless, nameless, so that life principle that runs in everybody of us, and because of that only my ears are able to listen, my eyes are able to see, and body, even if it is a matter, inert matter, but it is seen moving here and there and doing all the actions. So you are that life force in us that is expressing through all these instruments of limbs, inner and outer. So in this way, full of spiritual principles also, and he praised Lord, admired Lord, and did all adorations to him. And then Lord become calm and quiet. And in turn, he asked Prahlad that Prahlad, uh, please pardon me. I'm sorry if I was any late to come, because you had to go through so many trials and tribulations. He tried to kill you in many ways. So, was I late? So, if I was late, then please pardon me. See the humility of God. He is the owner and creator and soul who gave existence to all this universe. And he was just asking pardon to this one, begging pardon to this Prahlad. So Prahlad was very much glad for this quality of God. And he said, then God said, ask any boon if you want. Whatever you want, I will give. Prahlad said that let there be no desire in my mind. Let I ask nothing ever. So he said that let there never this one. get cultivated a lotus of desire in the heart of in the lake of my heart. Let me be desireless, nishkam, akam. So God said, yes, that is there, but still you ask something. Then Prahlad said, this my father, even though he was ignorant and therefore arrogant, and therefore he did animosity towards you, who is the very life breath of everybody, and who is so good and kind and full of form of joy only. So that my father, please see that he doesn't go to hell, etc., and he gets good place after death also, and he just goes on the spiritual path towards having oneness towards you. So God said, definitely, Prahlad, the lineage where a devotee like you gets born, then 10 generations before that, 10 generations after that, and your one generation. So 21 generations get liberated. Get liberated means goes on the path of liberation. So you don't worry that your father will have seen of this. And actually they are my servant, Jai Vijay. So they will, after one more birth, two more births, and they will come to me only, to my world. So in this way, they just did that. And afterwards, Lord says, Prahlad, come. Now you are the, this one, you are eligible to, you are the king of this whole world, and you are now eligible to sit on this throne. So let me sanctify this throne, because earlier this Hiranyakashipu had sat there. So those vibrations were there. So Prahlad, God Himself first sat on that throne and then said, Prahlad, come. Now you adore this throne. And God did His coronation with His hand. And then God disappeared. All the other gods and whoever had gathered there, they also went to their places. And then Prahlad started uh, this one, administrating all the worlds. And then afterwards, his son was Virochan, and Virochan's son was Bali. And that Bali's famous story is there, that Bali, he was good to towards all the subjects also, and towards his teachers also. So the teachers also always blessed him and thought of his benevolence good only. And therefore Bali's strength was increased. And he has captured all the place of heaven. So gods were homeless. And God's mother Aditi was very sad because all the rights of her children, gods, they were deprived of that. Therefore, she was thinking of doing some austerity so that this all bad, unfortunate phase in life will go, and they will get their royal places and this kingship also on heaven. Aditi came to her husband, Kashyap Rishi, who is one of the progenitor, creating all this praja people. So he said, you do Payovrata. Payovrata means remaining for 12 days on only milk. So he said all the things how that is to be done means earlier day, first day, when you start this wow, before that day. So that evening before that, you do all elaborate worship of God, and then you give gifts of clothes and food and money and other articles to good people, holy people. And then next day, and you yourself survive only on milk. And every day you feed people, and you don't speak to bad people, you don't look at them, you don't put any contact with them, and always remain yourself in the memory of God only. So, in this way, 12 days you complete this vow, and then God appeared before her. So, she did as a Her husband told, and God appeared before her, and he said, I know what is there in your heart. But every time I cannot go and fight with demons and make these gods the kings of this heaven. Now, this time I myself will come as a brother of Indra, the smallest brother, Vaman or Anuja, Upendra it is called. So you just be like this only, good. And then after a year, she gets this Vaman as her child, and immediately he was God only. So he appeared there in the form of four hands, etc., holding this lotus, mace, discus, and Shankha Chakra, Conch, Shankha Chakra Gada Padma. And then afterwards he turned into Vaman and was a very, very bright student, very bright and brilliant. And like one teacher went in the class with the sunglasses, and when asked why, she said, my students are bright and brilliant, therefore I wear sunglasses. So this Batu, Brahmachari, in the form of student, small, then he was very bright, and all the gods, etc., they came and they handed over whatever requirements were there, like a rosary, then a seat, then one water vessel, then the one cloth to uh, wrap around his waist, and all these things, one staff, and like this, they all gave everything. The sun god, then Saraswati, then Bhavani Mata, then Prithvi Mata, earth god. So all the gods gave some gifts to this Lord in the form of a student, Vaman Brahmachari. And then he started walking towards one big Yajnashala where this Bali, the emperor, he was doing one big sacrifice. And during sacrifice, whenever holy people come, they are they please them with charity and donations. So when this Vaman was coming, all the rishis or saints and sages, they said, oh, it's the sun himself is coming because he is so bright, splendorous, and effulgent. So when this Vaman came, Bali saw that somebody special has come, and therefore he made him sit with respect and washed his feet, and with folded hands he asked, "I feel very much fortunate that you came here. Now you please take some of my service." You asked something. The Vaman said, "I want 3 feet of land." Then Bali said, only 3 feet. He said, yes. He said, it is a childish demand because my rule is such that whenever one asks something to me and when I give that, then he should feel no need of asking anything anytime in his life. So I should fulfill whatever requirements, whatever needs of him. So he should not ask to anybody else afterwards. In such a way I give. So this little bit arrogance was there that I give, I fulfill need of others like this. So he said, no, I want only three phases of my uh, this one. As per I will walk, that much only land I want. Bali said, you take the full big so many acres of land so that your livelihood will be done. I said, no, I want this much. And then Shukracharya, his teacher, Demon's teacher, he said, please don't give this. He is Lord Vishnu actually, and he will grow bigger, and afterwards he will cover all this earth in first this one stride, and all heaven etc. in second stride, and where he will put third stride, third step. Tartiyasya kagatihi. Tritiya step means third step. Tartiyasya kagatihi. Bali said, no, but I have now given the promise that I will fulfill your need, whatever you give, I give. So now let anything will happen. Come what may, I will fulfill my word. So Vindhyavali, Bali's wife, comes with a golden pot and he pours the water on his hand that yes, I have given 3 feet of land to you. And then the Vaman starts increasing in stature, and then his feet reach to Patal and his head reaches to the seventh heaven. And then he covers all the feet in one step, and the second feet he keeps there. So Brahmadev with his water vessel worships that feet, and the water that has touched Lord's feet, that is Ganga, which flows in heaven also, in intermediate space also, and this ground also. So afterwards, this he asked where I should keep third space because all your this area territory has covered by two only. Bali says, okay, my ahankar, my ego is there. So you please put my on my head your third step. And then God binds him and says, that time Prahlad comes there. So this comes in Prahlad's story. That time Prahlad comes there. And Prahlad praises God. Oh God, whatever you do, it suits you. You had only given the strength to Bali and the intellect to him so that he acquired all these things. So you had given all power of heaven, etc. to him. Now you have taken it from him. It doesn't matter. And God says, Prahlad, you also go with Bali to the Netherlands, Patal, and you remain there. That is also very much prosperous land. And I will stay. I will see that nobody harms you. So you go there. So they all go there. So in this way, Prahlad story. पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु श्री सीतारामचन्द्रार्पणमस्तु